Power! Alright, let's talk about power for 17.5 blinky touring car racing. So let me just talk about this from the limited knowledge I have. I am not a motor guru, that's a disclaimer. But yeah, I've done pretty well racing. And first off, I want to say I am biased against power. Early in my career, I want to win without power. I want to win based on driving skill. I don't want people to say, he so-and-so won because he had more power. That's not a satisfying way to win. The best way to win is, for them to know you have no power and you still beat them. Yeah, that's really, stick it to them. No power, car sucks, and you still win. That's how I want to win, all right? But, we still need to talk about power. If you want to join the blinky class, let me give you a quick rundown, all right? I'll be brief. Alright, so if you're a newbie or intermediate driver, less power might be good for you. Less is more. Why? Because it will help you drive more consistent. It will give you better lap times. Okay, that's my recommendation. So take your pick. Pick any motor. You can even go with an older generation motor like this one. This one is like a few years old. It's heavy. It's not as powerful, but it will give you a smooth driving feel. It will help you drive smoother. Now these motors are the 2017-2018 models, all right? So if you want to have the latest and a little faster motor, here it is. So if you want power, pick one. All right. So if you're a newbie, intermediate, pick any of these. You have here like Surpass, much more, R1 Wurks, Trinity. So these are some of the popular names in the motor category. These are well-known brands. Pick one. It should all give you the same, lap times. Now, assuming you're a driving talent and you're doing well and you feel you lack power, it's power that's what's holding you back, from winning. All right, then let's talk about that. So which one will help you win? All right, for club racing level driving, not international level, I would go with, let's go with cost, because more or less these are more or less equal. To a club level driver, the performance is more or less, yes, some are better than others, some are slightly better. If you're a really good driver, you might be able to extract that speed and translate it into lap times, but for most of us, we'll get the same lap times, whichever motor we pick. As long as we gear it correctly, set it up correctly, we'll get the same lap times. So then let's start with cost. Who is the winner? All right, this one, Surpass version 3. Clear winner. I bought this online for $35 US, delivered to my house. All right, very good motor. Very torquey, very durable. And so, I had my daughter try this motor in a club race. First time out, also a relatively old car, she won. All right? So this motor has enough power to win against other drivers who were running R1 Wurks, Orca. I don't know what else they were using, but they were using high-end motors, Hobby Wing. So this motor, good enough. My daughter's not that great of a driver. She's good, but not that great. So if this motor can help her, give her a win, then it's good enough, for our club racing. 35 US dollars, all right? Torquey, good power. These two are around $90. So if you want to spend more, here you go, $90 to $100. And coming in last place in the cost department, Trinity. This is a Trinity Certified motor, so I think this is the top 5% or whatever of their motor quality, and it's around 170 US dollars. I think you should, if you love the best, right here, price wise, it's the most expensive, but there is quality. I'll get to that later, but on the cost department, it loses out. 35, 90, 175. I don't even know how it's legal, because I heard the rules are $150 motor price limit, I think. But, alright, never mind that. It's legal, alright. What else? So, if it's not cost, let's talk about the differences, alright? If money is no object, which one would I run? Alright, that's a good question. If money is no object, I will run this. Okay? This does well. It's a torque motor. It does well short track and big track. This. Trinity has been making motors. That's how they got started. This company decades ago started with motors. So they know how to make motors. Even brushless. They're good. Alright? So Trinity, I'll get this. If money is no object, if someone gives me a motor, sponsors me a motor, this one, I'll pick this one. Second, money is no object. It's tough. Actually, it's either, for a short track, it's either R1 or Surpass. And for a big track with lots of, RPM, your driving is more on the higher RPM range, than this motor, because this one that I have, Fleta version 2 ZX, is more RPM motor than the others. Alright. So, cost, if you're this is cheap, expensive, money is no object, this is the best performer for me all around. What else can we talk about? Alright, how to set it up. Okay, let's assume one by one that you decide you are on a budget and you would like to buy this motor. How to set that up. Alright, for me, for a short track, I would set it, if you have a motor analyzer. Unfortunately, if you don't have one, borrow one. There's many on the web. Oh, let me get alright. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. A motor analyzer. It's around $80. You put the motor here, you plug the wires, and you have readings. There's many tutorials on the web on this item. Take a look, Alright, but what I'm going to say is this. So on this analyzer, with this motor, I would probably just set it to 6 amps, to draw 6 amps. And that timing will be around 52 degrees. It's a little high, but it is a torquey motor. To get the power out, get some good straight line speed. 52 degrees, 6 amps, was not overheating. My daughter won. Alright, so that's my baseline starting point. And it's a small track. It's around 11-12 second lap track, asphalt. Sweeper hairpin. So that's where I would start. If you're overheating, FDR is around 3.7. So if you're overheating your motors, go down in the timing. Be conservative. If you're starting off, I would be more conservative. Start with like 40 degree timing. FDR 3.7 and start playing around with it. You have to play around with it on your specific track because it depends on your driving style, the type of track, the corners, you know. I cannot generalize, but for my track, STR Raceway, yes, 6 amps, 3.7 FDR is a good starting point. Okay, this motor, when I ran it, it was giving the same lap time as the R1, but it felt sluggish on acceleration, which is expected. It's a high RPM motor, so it gives a smoother corner. On power, it's smoother. Less torque, smoother drive. So it can probably give you the same lap time because it gives you a smoother driving feel. You know, your car is driving smoother. You're doing better more consistent lap times, or it's just, giving you the right speed, right? But normally I would, so for this one, I would say, again, yes, I started off with 6 amps as well. Timing is around, I can't remember the timing. Set it at 6 amps, forget what the timing reads. It's probably going to read around 50, I guess. Alright. It's the amp draw is what we're looking at for me. Baseline, starting off. Now, on hindsight, if I want more low-end acceleration, maybe I should go down on the timing. No, on the current draw. Lower the timing and maybe increase the FDR to lower the FDR to 3.5. I don't know. So there's a lot of combinations to play around. You play around with the timing, with the FDR, and it's you can have low timing, low FDR, lower FDR meaning a lower number. So like a bigger pinion. And if you go higher on the timing, it will make your motor hotter but more power to an extent. You have to use a smaller pinion to keep things cool, to balance out the load. All right. This one again, same 6 amps. Oh, there's a trend, right? 6 amp. Is it a magic number? Not really. It's just coming out that way. So I set this at 6 amps baseline. It was pretty fast. It was tying the fastest guys out there for fastest lap time. Not lacking in power. 6 amps, it's around 50 degrees timing. And it was good. But for this weekend, I'm going to try something different. I'm actually going to try a 46 degree timing, so lower it. But change my FDR from 3.7 to 3.6 or 3.5. And just to see which one is better. Alright, so I'm going to compare timing of 50 with an FDR of 3.7 to a timing of 46 degree and an FDR of 3.6, 3.5. Alright, hope that gives you an idea of how to balance things out. If not, just keep listening. Ignore the technical mumbo jumbo. I'm trying to keep this simple, but if you don't know what FDR means and all these things, maybe I'll talk about it in the future, but there are many videos about it already, so kindly just take a look. I assume we know what FDR is. Alright, and here, this one, recommendation is 47 degree. And FDR of around 3.6 for our track. And that's how it is. For each of these motors, that's how I would run it. I'm sure that I can still probably, with more time testing, a racetrack, you can improve it by a small bit. But for ballpark figures, this is the ballpark setting for each of these motors. For myself, for a specific small, medium-sized racetrack. If you're going to go to a bigger racetrack, then you lower the FDR to like 3.5, 3.2, and that's where it is. All right. So to summarize on the settings, it's somewhere, you play between timing 40 to 50 degrees, depending on your motor. You need to find the sweet spot, as they call it. But it's hard, motor tuners with dynos and all these settings know where the sweet spot is. I don't have dynos, I don't know where the sweet spot is, so I just read on the internet and test it on the track. And for us, we're finding the sweet spot actually in general to be around 6 amps. Draw is a good compromise for torque and RPM. So timing 40 to 50. Amp draw maybe anywhere from 3 amps to 6 amps. Depends. FDR, again, it's anywhere from 4 to 3.2, depending on the track and your timing settings. Okay. So that's the ballpark figure where people play around with the combination to hope to find that last tenth of a second per lap. Yeah, but in general, if you're in the ballpark, you're in the ballpark. No need to stress about finding more power. You're there, you're there. So hopefully this ballpark figures gets you there, and we're happy doing our club race, enjoying, and important, monitor your temps. Do not burn your motor. So if you're smelling smoke, that's not power. This is not nitro. This is brushless. When you see smoke, something is wrong. It's about to get. Remember, as your motor gets hotter during a 5-minute run, it also loses power. All right. So it's not just you have to find when you test, you have to do a 5-minute test as well. Make sure that your motor is consistent. The temperature does not exceed maybe 160 degrees Fahrenheit over a 5-minute run. If it does, you're pushing it a little bit. You might get more speed, more power, but you are pushing it, and it will be diminishing returns on that. So get your motor in a happy place. No more than 160 degrees with a fan. So most of us run fans, and these fans are strong. Like 40mm fans to keep these cool. So run a fan for touring cars. That's my advice. Any questions? Power. Yeah. So myself, I'm still that type of racer. Just give me any motor, I'm gonna win. That's the mentality I have. So I'm not too stressed about power. Give me a motor with a ballpark setting and let me drive the hell out of it. Alright? That's my attitude on how to get faster. Because, many people stress, put a lot of effort tuning motors, getting power. But they forget, if they put the same amount of focus on their driving skill as they do on their motor tuning, you would probably get faster lap times. There's no substitute for this. This is what gives the lap times. The hands. All right. What else to add? All right. Yeah, I remember now. One thing to add is also not just power, but the drivability of the power. The power band is important. So if you have an RPM motor, it's more drivable because it's less torquey. It puts less, your tires are more smoother when accelerating because less torque. So it's beneficial if you're heavy-handed. But maybe an RPM motor might help you with gain that traction control. All right. But if you're very good at a smooth driver and you can really control the power, then get torquey motors like these. Out of the corner, and you can control it well. Yeah, it should you out. Yeah. All right. So what do I like? So what to look for? Look for this. Look at this. This nice. Weight. Weight is I would look at weight as well. So I would go for the lightest. If all things equal, go for the lighter motor, right? So this is a little heavy. It's like 158 grams. This is the lightest that I have. It's 149 grams. This is around 153 grams. And I think this is around, offhand, around 155 grams. Pretty close in weight, but you know, well, if they're equal, go for the lighter motor, right? But then if it's cheap like this one, who cares about a few grams? Best value motor, I would go with this Surpass. All right, I know there's a version 4. There's a version 4 coming out. But the price is so much more expensive. I think it's around $45 already. So it's a big jump. Or no, not 45. It's like around $60 from what I saw. 60 to 90 depends. So it's a big jump from the price of this. So for value, I would go for version 3. I doubt that version 4 will be that much faster. It's lighter, I think, but I doubt, you know, for club racers like me, amateurs, non-professionals, it's not worth it for me. Yeah, but if it makes you feel better psychologically, go for it. Whatever helps you, right? All right? Just don't get too obsessed with winning with power. Win with driving skill. All right? That's my tip. That's my RC Car Tips tip for you guys. Driving first. And then once you can really drive, then motor comes into play. So like my daughter, you know, she's really trying to push. Just to give you an idea how fast she is. So in modified, when the world champions were here, Alexander Hagberg, Ronald Volker were here, they were doing, let's say, 15-second lap times on a big track. Porsche, my daughter, was doing 15.6 on an old Novak 4.5 motor. That motor was like 10 years old. It weighed 180 grams. It offset, you know, it made the balance so bad on my car. But she still was like 6/10 off the pace per lap in modified on a very big 15-second laps. Only 0.6 off world champions. And she's an amateur. She had no time to tune the car. She's just driving it, you know. So, driving skill. Because there, you need to control the power properly to translate it to lap times, you know. There's so many corners in a track. Unless you're running oval. But I'm talking on-road touring cars, all right? With corners. So power, you know, where acceleration, corner speed is important. So it's driving skill that will give you the lap time. Pick any one. It will give you the same lap time until such time your driving is good enough to maximize the specific power characteristic of each motor to give you faster lap times, all right? So otherwise, don't sweat it. Focus on driving, guys. Buy cheap motor, buy expensive. You know, this has beaten expensive motors on with my daughter's driving. You know. Not to say the others were not good drivers. One was very good. He has one there as well. He was just maybe, you know, he was using good equipment. Yeah. So this is good. Best value for me, this. Outright performance, this. In between, these. Okay, hope that's clear. If you have any question, just please leave it in the comments below this video. So, thank you again for watching. This is RC Car Tips, pretending to know about motors and power. Alright? I'm pretending as if I know these things. Again, I said I'm a driver. I win with driving. But of course, you know, I like to know things about power because the competition is really tough nowadays. Driving can only get you so far. You need that last ounce of power to win and beat these guys. So I am focusing on power now. Alright? But for you guys, I recommend just drive it. Pick a motor, drive it. Driving will make it fast. Alright? Will make you fast. Alright? Alright, so thanks for watching. Alright, bye guys. Cheers.